Good morning, Maine Music. This is Angela, and today we are going to be going through Hymns Made Easy. We're going to be going through Because I Have Been Given Much, page 62 and 63. It's a very simple little song, and there are a few interesting components to it that we'll talk through before we begin. First of all, let's take a look at the time signature. 2 beats to a measure, and the second number on the bottom indicates the type of note that gets a beat. This half note, the 2 means a half note gets 1 beat. Normally, the quarter notes or the black notes with a stem would get 1 beat, but in this case, the half note gets 1 beat. So the way you're going to count this is you're going to count 1 and 2 and. We are starting here, this is actually an and, so this is the back half of the second beat. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and so on and so forth. So that's how you're going to count it. It would be easy to count this 1, 2, 3, 4, but if we're going to do it the way it's written, 2 beats to a measure, half note gets 1 beat. We are using what's called the key of B flat up here. You'll notice we have 2 little accidentals. This is on the B line, so all the B's in the whole song are flat. All right. The second accidental is on the E line, which means all the E's in the song are flat. So when you come to a B or an E, unless it says otherwise, it is flat. It will not give you any other information other than that you should know they are all flat. So since our scale is a B flat scale, the 2 big chords that we're going to be using in this song are a B flat, D, F chord. That's your first chord. Let me see if I can get my phone up here a little bit. Tuck my fingers in. Don't play this way that I'm playing. I'm just doing it so you can see my hands a little bit better. So there's a B flat chord. Also an E flat chord. E flat, G, B flat. That's going to be another big chord here. The last chord is going to be the 5th chord, which in this case is an F chord. We are going to find those chords all over the place. I believe they also use a G chord in this, but really the first chord, B flat, the 4th chord, E flat, the 5th chord, F, are the main chords of the song. So bear that in mind, and as always, when in doubt as to what to play, since B flat is the first note of your scale, usually a B flat will go with basically anything. So let's go back to here. We are going to be starting with our thumb and middle finger on D and F, right above middle C. And then our left hand thumb will be on C, second finger on B flat. So we're going to get started and put this together, and I'll play it one time through, then we'll take the hands apart and play it again. At the end, I will play it once again all the way through. See if you can play with me. Okay, pianists, here we go. Because I have been given much, we're going to take this at a very relaxed walking pace. 1 and 2. Okay, so let's go to the beginning of the song. I'm going to just start with the first line and walk through it nice and slow. So thumb on D, middle finger on F, and it is going to go 1 and 2 1, 3, and 4, and given much, we're going to just take I'm taking my second finger to the E flat, fourth finger to G. Let me see if I can do that so you can see it better. 1 and 2, and 1 and 2. Very simple. You definitely use your sustain pedal since there's so much repetition. That way when you're playing the note, you have something holding the sound as you pick up and put your hand down. You don't want to have that choppiness. This is a sweet, gentle song. We want it to flow like a river. So we're going to use the pedal. Let's do the first line, just the right hand together one more time. 1 and 2. Okay, and just a note, if you are using your pedal and you're having a hard time with it, when you use the pedal, you want to lift up and reset the sound whenever you're starting a new group of notes, because that indicates you're going to a new chord. So the first 2.5 beats or so, because I have been, are all in the key, excuse me, let me start that again. The first 2.5 beats are all in B flat chord. 1 and 2, and. So you can hold that sound and it all sounds good. When we get to given much, we have that E flat above. That means we're going to an E flat chord. Different chord, different sounds. That's a good time to reset. So I just picked up my right foot and put it back down again very quickly on the pedal to let go of the B flat sounds. So now I can hold on to the E flat sounds. And now I'm going to do that again. 2 must give at the end of the first line. And I'm not going to use the pedal at that point because I'm not doing repetitive notes. Let's move on to line 2. Because of thy great bounty, Lord, each day I live. So you'll notice the very first note of line 2 is a D, and it is tied to the word give on line 1. So we do not play that D. Actually, it might be helpful if we go back to line 1 and play the last measure. So I'm going to start at 2 must give at line 1. 1 and 2 and. 2 and 1 and 2. And I'm at the end of measure 1, line 2. Okay, pretty simple there, but let's talk through it. Because of thy great bounty, Lord, each day I live. Because 1 and 2 fingers, that's a very wise use of your hand. Remember, your thumb and your index finger have the most distance between them. So if you don't need to reach any notes in here, it is a good idea to utilize those 2 fingers when you can, instead of going like this, because now you only have a few things left. So we need to maximize the space of our hand. So B on the word because is D and F, and we're going to put our 1 and 2 finger there, which lets our middle finger jump nicely up to the B flat. And then C, D, C, drop down to G, 1 and 3, to F and A. Okay? And then you're going to hold that F and A for the end of the measure. Day I want, or I'm sorry, 2 and 1, line 3, I shall divide. Okay? Let's start at I shall divide. We've held the F and the A to beat 1, and I comes on the and to beat 1. So 1, move your thumb to A, and 2, and 1, and 2, and, oh, I'm so sorry. That is what you call a clam. I forgot what scale I was in. No problem. Let's try again from I shall divide, remembering that the E is flat. 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and. Okay, let's go back to the beginning of line 3, page 62. I shall divide. And we're going to start with our thumb on A. 1 and 2 and fourth finger to this D. 1 and 2, E flat. You kind of might, you're going to want to twist your hand just a tiny bit. And then bring your middle finger to the C. 2 and brother that I with the C. 1 and 2 and 1. Okay? So that's actually pretty simple. You're really just playing the notes between A and E flat there on line 3, page 62. Going over to the last line on page 63. So we played the B flat with our middle finger there on C. Okay, and then we're going to drop down A, G, and I'm going to bring my 2 and 4 finger over here to D and F. I'm tucking my fingers back that I'm not using so you can see. Don't play like this. This is not the way to play. Always play with your hands at the keys. But for my purposes, I'm tucking back. So I'm going to have my 2nd and 4th finger on D and F on Has the Need of Help. 1 and 2. And now this is the part where we're going to kind of jump. We're going to bring our thumb to the E flat and take our pinky up to the C there on Help. And 2. And now this finger is going to kind of stay right there for a while. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and then drop the E down to a D because that is what it's called, a resolution. This sounds tense, but now it's relaxed, and that's the end of the song. There is one thing I want to bring your attention to. But that is all the right hand for Because I Have Been Given Much. Okay, let's talk about some counting here really quickly, just so that you're not wondering what's going on. This is the key to the whole counting situation. 2 beats per measure, half note gets 1 beat. So what that means is this note, this D, it gets 1 whole beat, and so this is 1 and 2 and it's tied to a dotted half note. A dotted half note in this case is going to get a beat and a half. So let's go back here. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. Okay, so forget what you know about a half note. This is now worth a beat and a half. Okay, I know it's not the clearest thing in the world, but you have this tie, this half note tie to other things here quite a few times in this song. So I just want to make sure that we're clear about what to do. Day I Live, again, I'm on page 62 here at the end of line 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, because now our quarter note only gets half a beat. Okay. Moving on over here to the end of the song, we have this dotted half note. Again, this is worth a beat and a half. Okay, normally it'd be worth something else, but this is a different song. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and etc. Hope that's helpful. Let's go down to the bass clef, see what's going on there. Okay, bass clef. We are going to start with our 2nd finger on B flat. I'm just starting with the first note in the bass clef in this song. So 1 and 2 and 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 I'm at line 2. Measure 2, because that is a D written above C and a G. So these are the 2 notes of the G chord that we're using. and 2, and. Now I'm on Bounty. We have a C and an E natural. 1 and 2 and then on the last measure of line 2, we're going to keep this, but we're just going to slide our thumb down and play an E flat. Okay? So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. I'm on line 3 at divide with the B flat and the D. Okay, that's what that little stack of notes is there. That looks like a cute little stack of bricks. 1 and 2, and we're going to keep the B flat for the. We're going to keep the B flat and come up here to an E flat. Okay, that's what that note is. It's written on what's called a ledger line, which is when they want you to play a note that's normally in a different clef with the opposite hand. So normally this E flat would be played with your right hand, but our left hand is taking care of it, so it's written lower. And 2 and brother, we're going to keep our E flat, and we're going to come down here to an A, 1 and then we're going to drop to a D, 2 and keep the D, page 63, and add a G, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So that is the entire left hand. Lots of whole notes, but remember, everything is different in this song. Whole notes are only worth 2 beats instead of the usual 4. All right, we are about to play through the whole thing again. We'll try to play it together. One thing I do want to remind you of, if you're looking at this song and you're like, what are these? These are telling you what chord is being used in this section. It does not mean that you are playing that specific note. Now, a lot of times you will play that in some way in that area, but that does not mean this is the note. It means this is the chord or the family of notes. So when it says B flat, it means that in that measure, they're using the notes B flat, D, and F in some way. Not in that order, maybe not even all of them. So don't be confused by these. I find them helpful because sometimes I get lazy and I don't always want to read the bass clef. So I'll just look up and say, oh, I'm using a B flat chord. Well, I'll just play a B flat instead of whatever's written. So you can do that as well. Okay, we are going to try to play all the way through. Best of luck, pianists. Okay, from the beginning, here we go. 1 and 2. All right, Maine students, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you are having trouble with this song, separate out the hands. Take it slowly, always count, and you will be fine. Best of luck. Have a good day.